Hello, YouTube. Did you know that the top 0.1% of Americans own almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%? And the 400 richest Americans own more wealth than all black households and a quarter of Latino households combined. Seems kind of weird, doesn't it? There's a quote by Elizabeth Warren, and I want to talk today about why we don't need billionaires in our world and how they are a sign of our system being in a very bad place right now. Now, to clarify, I don't mean that we should go out there and, kill them literally. That's not what I meant with don't need. I mean people who have that type of wealth, we don't need them. So let's talk about that today. And before we get started, you could like, comment, and subscribe down there. It would really help this growing channel out a lot. Also, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on twitch.tv/funwithfondue at 5 p.m. Central European time. And lastly, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/funwithfondue. If you want to support me monetarily, please head over there for some exclusives as well. Now, let's get started then, shall we? Firstly, I want to remind everyone that a billion is not 10 million. It is 1,000 million. So when someone is a multi-billionaire or has tens of billions, they have thousands or tens of thousands of millions. Just the amount of money that they have is just so tremendous. The amount of wealth that they possess is just... it's too much. It's crazy. And then I want to start talking about taxes, because in the US, the average billionaire pays 23% in income tax. I know that's not a huge percentage, is it? Compared to the 28% that the average American pays in income tax. Isn't that a little weird? That billionaires are getting taxed less for their income? Seems kind of strange. I mean, Warren Buffett himself has said that billionaires are paying proportionally less in tax than the average person. These people admit it themselves. They're like, yeah, we pay less. We don't want to change that. Why would we? I mean, why would they? Yeah. One way that billionaires are able to pay low taxes is that their earnings come from other things than just income tax, or a lot of their earnings come from outside of income. So it comes from things like investments, inheritance, etc., which all have lower tax rates than income, surprisingly. For example, Blackstone's co-founder Steven Schwartzman was paid $786 million in 2017, adding to his net worth of almost $13 billion. And he didn't pay any income taxes on the majority of those earnings, thanks to tax laws, deferments, and other loopholes. So billionaires also have a unique position where they have enough money and power that they can pay people to make sure that they pay the least amount of taxes possible, use all the possible loopholes, use all the possible ways to bend the rules just enough so that they don't break them. Whereas regular people don't have the money or the time to do any of that kind of stuff, and they have to pay income tax. And I'm not saying people shouldn't be paying taxes. No, I'm saying everyone should be paying taxes properly. And the funny thing is, for the US, like, taxes on the rich used to be higher. Because often, like, people are like, well, if we just tax them so much, then, they would leave, or, they're like, nothing would get done. There would be no innovation. Everything would collapse. No, it's not true. Taxes on the rich used to be higher from 1932 to 1981. The top tax rate in the country never fell below 63% and was even as high as 92%. Think about that. That's how high it was at some points in the US. still innovation happened, growth happened, right? And it wasn't until our dear friend Ronald Reagan that the tax rates started to drop. And they dropped from around 70% to where we're at now, around 28%. Again, Reagan and his Reaganomics are responsible for a lot of the damage that is still happening today. The fact that corporations have so much power, they pay barely any taxes, among other things. Reagan caused a tremendous amount of damage, tremendous, that the world is still recovering from. So this is just the taxes part. This is show you like normal people are paying more taxes percentage-wise than billionaires who are skirting them and finding ways to get around them when they should be taxed higher because they're earning more. They can afford it. Like if someone like Jeff Bezos got taxed even 10 billion. Let's say Jeff Bezos got taxed $10 billion. He would still have multiple billions of dollars. He would be fine. There is a lot more that can be done there. And that taxed money can go to a lot of good. It can be used for a lot of very, very good things. And when the rich are not taxed properly, and when they have this crazy amount of wealth, they have a lot of unjust power. Because having this crazy amount of wealth gives you also a very, very high position of power. You can do a lot of things. Like they can influence politics very heavily, for example. In the United States currently, companies can freely donate to politicians and political parties as they see fit, because this is protected under the First Amendment as free speech. So corporations can dump money into political parties and politicians that they want to do specific things for them. It's donations, of course. No strings attached, right? Right? Like this power is just immense, and these billionaires that are in these positions of power to do these types of things, they weren't voted into this position of power. No one decided that they should be the benefactor of all this wealth that is coming from their companies. Like, who voted for them? Did you vote for Jeff Bezos to be the head of Amazon? You didn't. You had no say in that. As a worker at Amazon, you had no say in that. And this immense wealth, like, that the companies make, they get to decide what's done with it. Not the workers. They have no say in that. You might say, well, they just work harder. You know, they took a risk and they work hard, and that's why they earn it. Okay. Well, if they work harder, do they work thousands of times harder? Like, does Jeff Bezos work thousands of times harder than his workers? If he does, how do you measure it? Is it time? Then anyone can earn Jeff Bezos' salary if they just put in the hours, right? So it's not time. Time is clearly not the metric that we use. So what is the metric that we use? Is it the value that they provide for the company? Okay, how do we measure that? See, this needs to be an objective, measurable thing if you're going to base this disparity between pay within a company. It has to be objective. And saying that Jeff Bezos took a risk back when he started Amazon, okay, sure, fine. But the people who work at Amazon take a risk every day. They might get fired, and then they lose their income. In the US, you can also lose your health care if you get fired. Your whole family might lose health care. That's a huge risk that all the workers take every day. So this risk is not unique to the owners of the companies. And if the company goes bust, what happens to Jeff Bezos? He goes to work somewhere else. The risk for someone like Jeff Bezos is that he becomes an employee in the end. But the risk for an employee is that their single source of income is gone, and they might lose, and their whole family might lose healthcare. Think about that. These billionaires run companies that are reaching a state of monopoly, really, in some areas. Like Amazon, for example, has a near monopoly control of certain markets. Or if others try to push into those markets, they either buy them out or then they undercut them so that they can never survive. The media companies in the US are owned by like 5 companies. So these companies become these huge behemoths that are technically not monopolies, but they are able to exert amount of control over the market that is akin to a monopoly. And as such, they hold an immense amount of power. And then the people working at the company or the people that are affected by this monopolization have no say in how things are run. Again, the people at the top have unjustly gained this power. Comes to the next point, which is that some people are going to say, well, you know, people like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, well, they donate so much of their money, don't you see? They do give money, they donate. Ask yourself, have the billionaires of the world solved homelessness? Have they solved world hunger? They haven't. Why? They could. The billionaires could get together and easily solve world hunger with the wealth that they have. They haven't. Why is that? Why is that? Even if they do give money away, they're giving away money that was created in a system that benefits them. It's money that should have been taxed from them. That money should have been taxed from them and given to the government and local governments to use on things that are seen as necessary. Billionaires and the foundations that they run don't understand the needs of local communities. Local communities understand that the best. It's more effective to have those local communities spend that money on things that are necessary rather than have a billionaire-funded company come in, try to parachute in, fix something, and leave. They don't understand the issues like the local communities do. These foundations that they form to donate, these are also great ways to prevent paying taxes. They invest into foundations, and they don't have to pay taxes on that money. Also a good way to avoid that. But having these foundations, for example, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as an example, that then does philanthropy, they get to decide on how the money is used. Bill Gates gets to decide, okay, well, we're going to help this community do a thing, but we get to decide how it's done because it's our money. We get to set our terms for that money. Why should billionaires have this power to decide on crucial infrastructural issues? Why should they have that power? They weren't voted into those positions of power. People didn't decide that they should be deciding how this money should be spent to make, the community a better place. Why should they have that? They shouldn't. Again, the local communities understand a lot better what is needed locally. And lastly, the wealth that they have is stolen. What I mean by that is that when workers work at a company like Amazon, they don't get paid their actual worth. The salary that an Amazon worker makes and the value that they produce for the company are not the same. Like let's simplify this example. Amazon was a company that made chairs and sold them. Jeff Bezos would buy the factory, he would buy the resources to make the chairs. But he wouldn't be making the chairs. He would hire people to make chairs. Now, those chairs are not going to get made unless workers work on them. Jeff Bezos can put all his money in a chair factory with the materials, and that will not turn into chairs. So someone needs to make the chairs. But then when the chair is sold, the value that comes back is not split 50-50. Jeff Bezos doesn't take 50 and then give 50% to the workers. No. Jeff Bezos takes, let's say 50. Worker gets like 10%. And then the rest is profit, which is given to the shareholders. That is stolen from the worker. The worker should get to decide what is done with their share. The worker should have a say in how that profit is spent. But no, they don't. It's just stolen from them. And then they get a measly pay while they have to piss into bottles in a warehouse because they don't have time to go to bathroom breaks. Meanwhile, the CEO is getting crazy rich like a dragon from fairy tales and hoarding the wealth while the workers are suffering and being exploited. I don't think that's right. And this is why I don't think we need billionaires. We shouldn't have them. We should tax them super, super high so that there wouldn't be billionaires, to be honest. Like, we can give you like a medal. Like, if you reach that point, you get taxed. You'll get just taxed 100%. And then we give you the medal like, you won at life. GG. You won. Now you just get taxed 100% of your wealth. But you won. GG. I don't think they deserve this type of power. It's unjust. It's undemocratic. It just creates a new class of aristocrats who get to decide what is done in society because they're rich. And it's theft. It's being stolen from workers unjustly. And I don't like it. We shouldn't have these people. We shouldn't have them. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do like, comment, and subscribe down there. It would help me out a lot. It means a lot to me. And I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on twitch.tv/funwithfondue at 5 p.m. Central European Time. Come hang out with us, ask questions, comment. You're more than welcome to join us. And I have a Patreon, patreon.com/funwithfondue. If you want to support me monetarily, please do join. There you get some exclusive as well. And hey, have a great day.